Right, so front and back pages again. Day after day after day after day after day, we're doing the same front pages. And today it is about the FAI. The best thing you guys could do is move on. O'Dowd in quit appeal. John Delaney and team are evasive. So top TD to FAI board. Footy bosses were urged to quit after being branded evasive in their shambolic performance before a Dáil watchdog. 8 hours of Oireachtas Dáil committee goodness yesterday. The Scarlet Pimpernel, it's code red for John and FAI associates. This is Neil Reardon's story in the back page. Irish football chiefs were left red-faced as Sinn Féin's Imelda Munster told them, Scarlet for you. And then a bloody Messi. Lionel battered by Smalling challenge, but United whacked by Shaw own goal. Yeah, fair enough, it's an own goal.
The Irish Times don't lead with the FAI, they lead with the black hole on their front page, but FAI should consider regime change is their front page story by Harry McGee, and then their sports section is leading with Barcelona. Barcelona stay unruffled and in possession against United assault, says Paul Wilson at Old Trafford, while Messi makes a bloody mess of United, battered but unbowed. The Argentinian's flash of brilliance was the difference, says Barney Ronay.
The front of the Irish Examiner sports section this morning, biting back, United undone by old foe Suarez. And then keeping stum, Oireachtas committee left frustrated as Delaney refuses to talk. And then there are a few other stories there. Jack Nicklaus talks up Tigers' prospects of Masters glory. Cork to question relegation playoff ruling. This is the appeal that Harnedy and Delaney will be suspended, even though that match between Cork and Kilkenny went ahead. So a great off-season, mid-season, GAA rules, disciplinary farrago. That's what we need in our lives right now, Owen.
I dare suggest that the meat and bones of this particular case will be fully exposed and we'll get right into it. And it's definitely because it's very, very interesting. It's definitely not because there's nothing else going on. The Mirror goes with one in the eye for Ole. It's football bloody hell as Messi and co take control. And Harry says, I'll come back stronger. That's Harry Kane vowing to come back stronger than ever amidst fears that his season might be over. And of course, you got that story as well at the top left. Jack tips Mac. Jack Nicklaus is putting his money on Rory McIlroy if he's
Well, no, he's not. He's putting his money. That's right here. Nicklaus talks up Tigers' prospects.
All right, well.
He's doing both. Well, he's talking out of both sides of his mouth.
Hedge your bets is what I suggest. Although Jordan Spieth at 16-1. It just looks so palatable, but every golf bet looks so palatable until you're there on the Sunday evening with a million bet slips and you're like, what have I done to my life?
We were wondering yesterday on the show if like €1 in the top 10 golfers each way to finish in the top 10 would yield profit.
It actually might do, yeah.
You need 4 or 5 of them to be in the top 10.
So what would you need? You'd need, who are the top, say who are the top 5 in betting at the moment? I suppose it's Rory, Rose, DJ, Tiger is the top 4, I think, and then outside of that you've got Spieth, as I said, at 16-1. I suppose he's around 5th or 6th. Like I just think Spieth is such a sensational bet for this week. But all golf bets look so sensational because the odds are quite long.
There's been a case made for Hideki Matsuyama yesterday by John Duggan. Board left in ignorance of loan to FAI for 2 years. So once the detail of yesterday's 8 hours begins to get sifted through, stuff will emerge. And I think the main thing that happened in advance of yesterday was the shit canning of the $1.5 million or 1.7 million that was outstanding in funding. But more important than that was the fact that Sport Ireland are back with the minister before the committee next week. So if everybody thought this was the end of the FAI saga, it ain't. There is another week to go. And in that intervening period, perhaps more information will emerge. Perhaps some of the terms of reference for the Mazars inquiry should be made public, no doubt, or should certainly leak to the public, and you would expect that some more details will emerge on the €100,000 loan. So the front page is board left in ignorance. The vast majority of the Football Association of Ireland's board members were kept in the dark for almost 2 years about a €100,000 payment made by John Delaney to the governing body, it has emerged. That's the front of it. And then FAI under attack after poor display is Gary Doyle's story, and United left facing hard exit. Ooh, that almost looked like the most prescient headline of all time, but then a deal was done overnight to kick Brexit back to the 31st of October, maybe, who knows.
Back page of the Irish Daily Star is first blood, but Solskjaer not ruling out another new camp miracle. Celts can boss it meanwhile. This is Mialbi convinced that Celtic have the drawing power to attract another big-name boss, and that is a picture of Rafa Benitez there. Legend Jack is backing McIlroy. He is backing McIlroy, Jack Nicklaus. And a couple of interesting GA stories here. Joseph Cooney is believed to be on the way back from Australia, which would be a big boost for Galway. And Nays CBS inquiry, writes Carl O'Kane as well. They've launched an investigation into allegations of racist chanting by a group of their supporters at their recent All-Ireland Senior Colleges semi-final victory. They issued a statement after opponents Pobble Kirkagreena lodged a formal complaint to the body that oversees post-primary schools GAA. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how that one develops.
Yeah, fair play to the schools for complaining, because if you don't make a complaint, then nothing happens, and we all need to make the complaints when we see stuff happening. First blood to Barca. Messi's in the wars as Suarez helps put United to the sword. Quinn left embarrassed by Oireachtas hearing. What was the headline on that one? Sorry, can you take back up the picture because it's different. Rugby Chiefs probe Saracens. So that's obviously the UK mail there. And Kane eyes rapid recovery. What are they talking about Saracens? That's interesting. Did Saracens spend too much money? I mean, no, they couldn't have. There's a salary cap in England that everybody clearly abides by.
Throw them out of the Champions Cup, allow Munster to progress to the final, is what I say.
Niall Quinn felt he was watching a scene from The Untouchables as the FAI were accused of giving 2 fingers to Irish football for refusing to explain the circumstances surrounding John Delaney's 100 grand dig-out. Sinn Féin TD Imelda Munster ran out of patience in Leinster House with the FAI's dithering and the decision to hire financial firm Grant Thornton to investigate the loan. Why would a board of directors bring in someone else that the people in the room know the answers to? It's a good question, isn't it?
It's a scene from The Sopranos or a scene from The Untouchables?
The Untouchables.
Because Mary Hannigan has it. At times it was like watching The Sopranos in action. The Untouchables, said Niall. I did not enjoy it. She doesn't capitalise The Untouchables. So maybe we need to dig into the fact of what cultural reference was Niall Quinn actually making.
Well, did he not say anything? I missed that bit.
So did I. I'm just following it on newsprint as well this morning. It's amazing how different. No, I was actually watching Kieran Cunningham and Joe Malloy on my YouTube yesterday before the match kicked off. So
Quinn said The Sopranos.
He did say The Sopranos. Yeah, no, there's a quote here.
Oh, right, okay.
So
what's The Untouchables?
And then he referred to them as The Untouchables. He's like, it was a scene from The Sopranos. The Untouchables. That was kind of his.
A scene from The Sopranos. The Untouchables.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. It's like it's like. It was a scene from The Godfather, The Sopranos.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I would need to go back and actually look at the clip. These are the pressing stories we need to dig into.
This is why print is not the true medium. This is why broadcast is the only true medium, so you can hear what people are actually saying.
The front page of the Irish Independent, it's the 3 amigos there. You've got Ray Walsh, you've got Donald Conway, and you've got John Delaney walking out, I presume, saying to themselves, good job, everybody, well done. The back page of the Indo then is Solskjaer. We're still in this tie, and Delaney joins Cat's casualty list. So Brian Cody has an injury crisis on his hands with Conor Delaney, the latest casualty, as he looks like he's going to be without a host of talent ahead of next month's Leinster Championship.
Is having the club month in the middle of the season like this a bit unfair? That
yes.
Like you're going to miss inter-county action there for whereas actually if there was a club season and you were injured in the inter-county season, you missed the inter-county season, fair enough. Now it feels like,
the thing in the middle of the year just doesn't make sense. Like the idea of having a boxed off club month makes sense, or a boxed off club season makes sense.
Boxed off club season, yeah. In
the middle of your inter-county season, it just doesn't make sense. The other story on the back of the Indo here is Malloy feels cheated by the GAA over fixture debacles. This is Kieran Malloy admitting he feels cheated by the GAA. So you obviously had him travelling cross-country last year between Sigerson and club action, and a similar situation arose this season where he played an All-Ireland club semi-final against Gweedore the day before his Sigerson semi-final, and he believes such nonsense isn't good enough. I definitely feel cheated by it, he says, especially the first year. Like, it was only 20 minutes I got and we lost that final by a point. I felt very hard done by. Definitely did by the GAA. This year they did put it off by a day, but I still think it wasn't enough time. It could have been put off by a week at least.
Front page of the Racing Post, Dermot Weld, stable tour, the master trainer with the lowdown on this season's team. Will Tiger roll again? Richard Forrestal on the entry hero and a hat-trick bid. And then too darn hot ruled out of Greenham after setback. And back page, they're tipping Keith Mitchell to win his 3-ball today. He is a 27-year-old making his Masters debut, but who played college golf at the University of Georgia. So you would expect that he understands the ups and downs, the little eddies of Augusta.
If you're in college in the area, do you just get to play Augusta at will?
You just rock up, throw $5 to the greenkeeper and off you go.
You know the way you're not supposed to ask to get into Augusta? Like if you just hang around, Does like an old man eventually come out of the shadows and say,
son, it's not your night.
You can you can play Augusta. The back page of The Guardian is long way back. Own goal leaves United with mountain to climb in Barcelona. Seeing Luis Suarez celebrating there. Right after there was sarcastic cheers from the Manchester United fans after the goal had been disallowed. And Suarez would have loved that.
I'm saying the sweet FAI. Ex-CEO branded a disgrace. Delaney refuses to answer €100,000 loan questions. John Delaney was branded a disgrace after refusing to answer questions on his €100,000 loan to the FAI. The former CEO is part of an FAI delegation given an 8-hour grilling by the Oireachtas Sport Committee. It's the front page of the Herald this morning. Absolute farce and a disgrace. FAI comes in for heavy flack at hearing. And then First Blood Barca, Shaw own goal narrows United's chances of semi. Significantly, you would say.
Just two more newspapers to go through. We'll look at the Telegraph this morning. They're leading with, now United need another miracle. Solskjaer's men have to repeat famous Paris and Turin victories to overcome Barca in Nou Camp return leg. And let's go to the Irish News as well. Hughes rules himself out of Ulster Senior Football Championship. Farnier still hoping for summer return
broken
from
ankle
injury. And Solskjaer hoping he can turn the tie around.
I'm just been a long time since I've heard of 2 broken ankles. You hear one and like, oh, that's unusual. And now there's 3 actually when you think of Harry Kane. It was just an injury that seemed to disappear for a while there. Now it's make an unfortunate comeback.
Is a time to... Wasn't there a time when football boots started to innovate with higher kind of heel support? Or not heel support, ankle support, I should say. And they kind of came and went without any sort of impact.
Like rugby, old school rugby boots.
Yeah, or like basketball shoes. I don't know. It is weird. It's definitely become more of a common thing over the last couple of months, it seems.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you ever done your ankle?
Like went over on it. Yeah. I mean,
anybody can do it. You can do it like walking up the stairs.
Not as badly as any of these guys are. So just looking at the odds, Man United 13-2. Just to win that game, not even to go through. So that is the best price for that. So to qualify, let me just bring in that. Man United 7-1, 5-1, 6-1 is the price. 10-1 on, 14-1, 9-1 Barcelona to qualify after the 1-0 win for them. Are we taking a quick look at some of the papers?
Yeah, well, like obviously John Delaney's been covered in great depth on Off the Ball over the past 12, 15 hours or so. You can check it all out on YouTube if you missed any of yesterday. But there's some good pieces today. One of the ones that kind of stuck out to me, just because it's a little bit different, is Cathal Dennehy's piece at the committee yesterday. Delaney's silence leaves us all thirsty for some answers after a very draining 8-hour session. A couple of water puns in that headline, you might have noticed.
Your generation has ruined the word thirsty, but go on.
It's not my fault.
It is.
It's I'll have a word with my people.
Come on.
You might Cathal Dennehy pointing out how much water that John Delaney drank yesterday. He may not have said much, he says, but at least John Delaney left with every last carafe drained of its contents. And at the end of it, as Delaney shuffled away, he was, if nothing else, impeccably hydrated. His first glass of water was down just after 10 a.m. as he assumed a hunchback position, head bowed, elbows on the table, peering at his inquisitors. The crevices under his eyes were deeper and darker than usual, tracing the stress that hadn't lifted in 25 days. He also points out, I actually hadn't noticed this piece of detail either, he arrived wearing a UEFA coat, a not so subtle signal to us plebs that he was a man with connections. He's like the lad who shows up to club training in his county gear because, you know, I play county. It's like John Delaney showing up to Oireachtas committees. I play county. I'm on UEFA. FAI President Donald Conway, meanwhile, was left to bat away shots, etc., etc. And he closed by listing a string of FAI underage projects, says Conway here, essentially asking the committee if they'd please think of the children. Delaney, meanwhile, sank his 4th glass of water. During the break that followed, the artist formerly known as a CEO popped an Alka-Seltzer into his glass and let it fizz away as he spoke to his team, words now flowing with the microphones turned off. Funny that. Ruth Coppinger was prying into his new salary, a query which, quell surprise, went unanswered. But then Delaney was on a 6th glass of water in 2 hours with his own supply exhausted. Colleague Porrick Traynor poured him some from his own reserve. Such is the FAI way. It's amazing how much you can read into the water drinking habits of John Delaney.
Yeah.
Delaney water can maybe is something that Oireachtas.ie should invest in next time.
Got to fill that copy somehow, right? It's a hard job to make some sense of the Oireachtas committee meeting yesterday and write about it in a way that somebody else is covering the news angle, somebody else is covering all the other stuff. So I think that we overanalyze some of this stuff sometimes too much. It's like you're in a hot room, You're there for a long time. It's thirsty.
Are you saying that talking about glass of water is over-analysis?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Right, let's move on, because Man United beaten 1-0 last night at Old Trafford.